Aware has had to have emergency surgery, gallbladder removal, and she's had, on top of that, a minor case of pneumonia. So tonight, as Krista wisely said, we'll be remembering her during our prayer, but I will be presiding tonight. So let me say this. Number one, yes, I am aware it is the national championship ball game. Yes, I am aware it is cold outside. And yes, I am aware that Peggy said I'll be hungry. All right, so we are going to expediently, hopefully, move through our business portion of the meeting and get to our exciting program tonight, which is hearing from our three sheriff candidates. With that being said, the meeting of the Hamblen County Republican Women for January will now be called to order. Dale Bailiff will be leading our pledge, followed by devotion and prayer with Crystal Bacon.
Attention. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Huntsman asked me to present a devotional thought. Well, thank you. Ms. Huntsman asked me to present a devotional thought on campaign integrity, election integrity. There she is. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Jean.
But first, I wanted to say, I am so thankful for our country and the freedoms that we enjoy. I'm thankful for our forefathers who sought God's will as the country was birthed. I'm thankful for those who want to be public servants, such as the candidates that are here tonight. That's a big job, an often thankless job. I'm thankful that we have the freedom to vote and elect government officials. Now here's the thing. As we know, the freedom to elect government officials has been attacked by those who will use forms of lies and deception to steal any position of power. We'll have to admit there's a great lack of integrity right now. But if you don't know what integrity is, let me give you the definition. It's the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. I hope that everybody in here would agree, and I'm not going to take a vote, but I hope you would agree that integrity is important in every aspect of our life, not just in the election. I think it's very, very important. But I wanted us to look at what God's Word said about it, to understand His view on the topic of integrity. In 1 Kings, we learn about Solomon. He had become king over Israel. That's a big job. The Lord appeared to him in a dream and He said, "Ask, what can I give you?" Well, what would the first thing be that comes to your mind if you got that offer? Probably not what Solomon said, but he said, as far as being a king, I'm like a little child, and I need an understanding heart to know how to judge God's people so that I can discern between good and evil. In other words, he was saying, I want to know how to do this job right. I want to do the right thing. Well, God was greatly pleased with Solomon's request because he didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for a long life for himself. He didn't ask for his enemies to die. And so God gave him a wise and understanding heart. And He stated, there has not been anyone like you before, nor shall any like you arise after you. And I have given you what you did not ask for, in addition to what he asked for. I've given you both riches and honor. And Solomon became known for his amazing wisdom and wealth. Much of his wisdom about living a life of integrity was shared in the book of Proverbs. Now, Proverbs 1:10 through 19 cautions a son about avoiding bad company. And I'm going to paraphrase it. I'm not going to read it. But he would be saying, if he lived in East Tennessee, he would say this: son, some people are wicked, and they'll try to talk you into doing bad things. They'll say, join us in this scheme. I mean, it's a done deal. And we will get rid of that innocent person over there. Then we'll take all their possessions and we'll share their wealth. And then Dad says, don't hang out with that kind of people. The plan will backfire, and they will lose their lives. Once I was in a ladies' Bible study, and this passage had been read. And one Asian lady, her name was Young, she spoke English fairly well, but the leader wanted to be sure that she understood what had been said and what had been read, and she asked her what she thought it meant. And so Young thoughtfully sat there, and she answered, and she said, where bad people are, don't go there. And we all got tickled, but when you think about it, that sums it up pretty well. That's what we don't want to do, okay? But sometimes we need to know, what do we need to do? And Solomon continues in Proverbs as he discusses the value of wisdom, integrity, and discernment throughout that book. He reinforces, he says, seek wisdom, be honest, be a person of integrity. And Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. Now, what should we do? In Ephesians 5:8 through 10, and I want to read that, it's real short. He's talking to new Christians. And he said, you were once in darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, proving what is acceptable to the Lord. That reinforced Solomon's message. Today, there seems to be so much darkness. I feel like that anyway. Let's be the light. Let's pursue the good. Let's pursue the right. Let's pursue the truthful. Let's be people and a nation of integrity. Would you join me as we pray? Father, we thank you that you are a merciful and gracious God, one of overwhelming blessings. Your faithfulness never fails. We thank you that even in these dark times, we can say you are still on your throne over heaven and earth. And we pray that your mighty hand continues to be on the United States as your light is revealed and darkness is defeated. We claim that verse, no weapon formed against us will prosper. Lord, we ask that you bless Miss Huntsman, that you bring healing to her quickly, that there'll be no complications. Lord, and we thank you for her. We ask you to bless her richly. And God, we ask that you guide each of us in our daily lives, regardless of our position, great or small, to be people of integrity and to shine the light and the presence of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Well, thank you, ladies. Appreciate that. All right. I want to welcome everyone, and I know we're excited about quote-unquote standing room only, but if we could have, I don't know how we're going to do, if we could not, I guess, wait, where's David Perky? He would tell me the fire marshal would say, don't block the doorway. So come on in. We want you to join us too. And welcome to our visitors. And if you are interested in joining our party, we would be more than happy to have you register with one of our fine ladies, the Republican Party and the Hamblen County Republican Women. We moved the meeting to tonight because of the holiday next week, but we meet every third Monday night. So we welcome you and would like for you to come back again. So we'll now proceed with the minutes. I asked, did everyone receive a copy? Those of you that are members of the Hamblen County Republican Women, you have a copy that's been distributed and or read online. Are there any corrections or additions? If not, could I have a motion that we accept those as written?
I make a motion to receive.
Okay, I need a second, please. All right, Penny, second. All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes for the last meeting, if you're a member of the Hamblen County Republican Women, raise your hand, please. Say aye. Aye. Okay, those opposed. All right, minutes are approved as read. Treasurer's report. Becky Skelton.
We have $1,135 in receipts. We have $2,924 in expenses. We sold 129 tickets for a Christmas dinner for a total of $1,950. But our expenses were a little bit more. They were $23.93 over. So we were deficit $443.03 for a Christmas party.
Well, I don't know about you, those of you that attended, I think that deficit was well worth it, don't you? It was. It was a wonderful time. And let me take this time to thank Kathy Richardson and her committee for how they decorated, hosted, Jean Huntsman for her activities we did that night. And it was just a wonderful evening. And thank you again, Kathy, for all your people that helped you. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you. The treasurer's report does not need to be voted on, but thank you, Becky. And Becky, thank you for the wonderful job you do. It's very clear every meeting exactly where we are. Thank you. Thank you. All right, tonight's exciting too because I have a great set of neighbors. We want to thank David and Pam Perkey, who are my neighbors, but who have donated a raffle ticket tonight for 6 months, $100 cash gift card for Cracker Barrel. Yeah, that's what I said. But you can see Miss Kathy, or, you know, I think we're going to ask Peggy, if you didn't get a chance, for $3 for one ticket. We'll have the drawing at the end of the meeting for a $100 gift card to Cracker Barrel for 6 months, or you can buy 2 for $5. And that will go into the Red Basket Fund. Is that correct, Kathy? And you know we use that fund for charitable projects that are needed in the community from our club. So be sure to see one of those ladies. And thank you, David and Pam. Thank you so much. That's very generous. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right, in new business tonight, sadly we have lost 2 of our great members. Larry Buchanan passed away, and Colonel Chester Smith, I went to church with him, call him Chet, passed away. Both were very active members, not only in the women, but of course, Tommy knows the Republican Party. And Chet, I think, Tommy, you told me, was served as past president. So it's a token of a way to honor them. Our club will more than likely would like to place in the library 2 books, one in memory of Larry Buchanan and in honor of Sarah, his wife, and then one in memory of Colonel Chester Smith or Chet Smith in honor of Jane. And I would need an entertain a motion, please, for that to take place. $25 for each book. And thank you so much to Carol Peterson. Said she would be the one to make sure that took place. So the chair would entertain a motion for that to take place. Do I have that motion? Okay. Tina seconds. Okay. So we have a motion that we spend $25 each on a book to recognize those 2 more than outstanding people and contributors to our club and party. So is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of Republican women say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. And thank you, Carol.
Gail, I have the two that we have purchased for Mrs. Ziegler
Okay.
and for Lyle Doty, if anybody would like to say that.
Okay, so Tina, would you please come to the microphone and say that? We have a big crowd tonight, so let's hear that. I think that's an important message to say. And Carol, you can consult with Tina. Here's a good way. All right, say it.
I have two books here that we purchased in memory of Mrs. Ziegler and Lyle Doty. One is The All-Americans Christmas by Rachel Compost Duffy and Sean Duffy, and Becoming Ronald Reagan, The Rise of a Conservative Icon for Lyle Doty. So I'll be taking those to the library this week.
You were going to stop, Carol, thank you. Okay, at our October meeting, Jessica Lyle with the Isaiah House spoke with us, and we passed the red basket. And for those of you who weren't present there, I'm so proud of our club and our people present. We raised $875 in contributions that night. However, we did not, parliamentary procedure, did not officially designate that in our record as that's how we would designate those funds. So the chair would entertain a motion that we officially designate for our record the $875 collected that night to the Isaiah House. All right, Dale so moved. We have a second from Peggy. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, just a couple of little things that we will run through quickly here, and then we'll get to our speakers. If you are willing, as a member of the party of the Republican women, we, as you know, are going to get through the primary, and then we will be opening the headquarters, and we need volunteers for that. So if you are interested, we already have a list of some people. If you have not signed up for that, you can see me, and I'll be happy to pass that along to Jean. And we'll schedule you for a time here. If you've never worked at headquarters, let me encourage you to do that. You meet the nicest people, and they come in and they're like-minded with you, and you get views from all over the country. They come in and they want to be part of our community, and I think that's part of our mission is to include them with us. So if you'll think about doing that, we would appreciate it. Also, I have been asked to read this by Ms. Huntsman and Tommy. Just as a reminder, we're moving into more competitive, I guess you would say, political campaigns and primary, and so we have a policy by the headquarters, party and women, on how to endorse candidates. All right, so on Facebook, and I think you understand that our club and the party cannot endorse during the primaries. But I've been asked to read this as a statement, just as a reminder to all of our candidates. The endorsement of candidates during a Republican primary is prohibited. Candidates in a primary should not post campaign materials during the primary. For example, here or on our website. Later, after the primary, when you're the designated candidate, that's different. If something goes on our Facebook pages and gets shared, it will appear that the club is sponsoring that post. Negative post of Republican leaders is prohibited. No profanity or obscene comments. The use of our Facebook page is prohibited for advertising of products for personal business. Our Facebook page is about us, Republican Party and Republican women, and we want to post what we are doing and promote Republican values and hope to draw new members and be a positive force in getting Republicans elected. Okay, we are here for you. We like all of you. During the primary, the president, campaign chair, and the name of the club must remain neutral. All campaign signs may be displayed at headquarters after petitions are returned to the election office. That's just more or less a public service announcement, okay, to avoid some confusion. Okay, so we're excited. We're going to move into now I'm going to ask our 3 sheriff candidates to come to the 3 chairs, and we have kind of met. This is going to be a question and answer period. They have agreed to go in alphabetical order, which I messed up, but I told them I went to UT. We played football. I didn't go to the English class. But anyway, they have figured out the alphabetical order of the thing, so we're glad. But, Todd, let me get out of the way and I'll let you get on over there. I appreciate that. Thank you. Because of the time constraints and the massive group of people, we as leaders and officers decided that we would have the questions written on index cards and more or less group them to the concerns. There should be apparent concerns or questions. And so we have got 3 questions we have selected for the candidates. They knew this was coming. But let me stress this. They're each going to make an introductory statement about what they wish for you to be informed about. And then we're going to move to the 3 designated questions. However, we have asked them to remain after the meeting for a few minutes. Now, you remember, Peggy's hungry. But anyway, they are more than happy. All 3 of them express a great desire. If you have a personal, individual question for any candidate that did not make one of the 3 cards, you are welcome to stay and visit with them, okay? So at this time, we'll start with Dwayne, and introduce yourself and take your 4 minutes. Okay.
Good evening, and thank you for the introduction. And I want to start out first by saying that this is a privilege for me as a resident of this county to run as your sheriff. And my background, I just want to quickly say that my leadership and vision started in 1979. When I joined the military, I had to learn vision and leadership, and that was my first footing into learning what I would apply later on in my life. And in 1986, I decided to further my life and my career in going into law enforcement, which was similar to the military structure. But the opportunity for me to serve my community as a police officer here in Morristown, I served in the school system, in the DARE program, and I saw the effects of what narcotics and the pressure to our young kids, what it did. And then I had the opportunity to go into the narcotics part of life, to where then I started working also not at the local level, but also at the federal level. I saw both sides of the impact of what narcotics had done to not only this community, but other communities that I've worked in. So as I moved on into the training part of my life, that's where I started realizing that there's compliances and policies that we as a police agency, we are public servants to our communities that we adhere to. And then I moved on up into the accreditation part of Morristown and became the accreditation manager before leaving in 2003 and went to the state of Tennessee as when they first stood up the Office of Homeland Security. Now, I know there's a fine line between confidence and humbleness and arrogance, but this humbles me to say this. When I was chosen to be an agent with the Office of Homeland Security, I wasn't just one of only 6 of the people that was hired in Tennessee. I was one of 3,000 applicants that became an agent for the Office of Homeland Security. Then, within 3 to 4 months after we were there, if everybody remembers, after 9/11, nobody knew in Tennessee where we were at in our lives and where our next threat was coming from. There was us 6 agents in the state of Tennessee. We were sent back to our respective regions. Obviously, I was in East Tennessee, where I oversaw 34 counties. And when I first started looking at what was directed at us for the future of the Office of Homeland Security, what you all don't know, and this is, and I'm humbled to say this, it was Morristown office of the Homeland Security Office of Tennessee that developed and implemented the council for each district in Tennessee. It originated right out of the Walter State Building, and I was one of the architects that did that. Now, that doesn't make me special, but it told me where I wanted to be in the protection of our community and our state. Now, I spent 21 years with Morristown Police Department, and I spent 12 years with the Office of Homeland Security. And I retired there in January 2019 as the Assistant to the Commissioner of Safety. And that's about it. I'm not going to go further because I'm sure that the bell is getting ready to get rung on me here.
I'm Todd Davidson. I'm a candidate for Hamblen County Sheriff, obviously, and I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I don't want to tell you about everything I've done in the past. I want to tell you what I'd like to do from this point forward. If you want to, I've got information with me. If you want to stay afterwards, I'll share you the information on my background in law enforcement. I did spend 31 years in law enforcement, and I'll be glad to talk to you about that, and I've got some information I can get out to you. My wife Tammy's seated here. She's a 30-year educator in Hamblen County, so she's with me tonight. There's 4 points I want to make tonight. First point I want to make is if I'm elected to serve as your sheriff in Hamblen County, one of the most important things on my agenda will be accountability, which means that I will be available for the public to come in and speak with me about their problems, whatever their problems are in the community. And I will be available for my deputies, the detectives, jailers, whoever has a problem. If they need to see the sheriff, I'm going to make myself available to those people. Accountability starts at the top. How can I have an organization of 85 to 90 people seated under me and make them be accountable, but I don't hold myself accountable? Accountability starts at the top. That's one thing that's very important on my agenda. Number 2 is I've got a team of teams plan ready to go. And what that consists of is this. The Hamblen County Sheriff's Department can only do so much for Hamblen County. We have to utilize all the other resources that are available, such as the TBI, the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency, the Drug Task Force, all these other resources that are available. We can use those at no cost. If we have a drug problem in the neighborhood and we don't have the manpower to sit on that drug problem, we reach out to these other resources. Hey, we need help here. They come in, and guess what? They come in on the state time, and they assist Hamblen County, and we try to get things done. So, team of teams. The Sheriff's Department is an organization, but it consists of teams. You have the jail, you have the investigative division, you have the patrol division, you got courtroom security. All these offices within that organization, they have to be on the same team for that organization to rise to the level it needs to be at to provide the best services to you guys in our community. Number 3, this is important. I want to implement a recruiting program. As anybody in here that's in law enforcement knows that law enforcement is not just a job. Law enforcement is a career or a profession. When I chose to go in law enforcement 30-something years ago, I wasn't looking to go into it for 6 months and then go find another job. I was looking at it as a career. We can't sit and wait for applicants to come to the Justice Center and apply for jobs. We got to go out and find these people that's looking for a career and an opportunity to help their families, something long term. Because yes, it doesn't pay a lot of money, but I'm a result of the TCRS retirement system. At some point in time, the benefits will come. So we got to build a recruiting program to reach out to the community and draw these candidates in that's going to stay long-term. Also, we'll do a top-to-bottom review, and what that consists of is this. We'll go in and look at every position in the Hamblen County Sheriff's Department from top to bottom. That would be from the sheriff to the guy that just got hired yesterday. We want to allocate those resources where they need to be. If we've got 20 people doing this job, we only need 5, and we need to find 15 other places that we can use those people to better serve our community. That's 4 points I want to get across tonight. And I thank you for your time, because I'd say my time's about up. Thank you. Yep, I was right.
My name's Chad Mullins, and I want to talk to you about my experience. That's what I'm running on, to be running for Hamblen County Sheriff. I started my career back in 1996 working in the jail. I worked in the jail for about 1.5 years, and I was promoted to patrol division. As a patrol officer, I took on the responsibilities and the duties of being a canine officer. I worked a dual-purpose dog for about 7 years at the Sheriff's Department. It's a dual-purpose dog. It's a narcotic dog and a apprehension dog. I am one of the departmental instructors. I'm a firearms instructor for the Sheriff's Department. I currently still am, and I'm also a emergency driving instructor for the Sheriff's Department. I've been on the Honor Guard for approximately 15 years. And if elected sheriff, I'll continue to be on the Honor Guard and honor that. I've been a member of the East Tennessee Meth Task Force for 15 years as well. I was trained to dismantle clandestine meth labs. I've worked several years in narcotics, working undercover. While I was K-9, I was promoted to patrol sergeant. Then in 2010, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. At that time, I went into the CID. I went into the Detectives Division for about 1 year until I'd done all my treatments and all that. When I come out of that, I've tested for a patrol supervisor, the lieutenant's position. For the first 15 years of my career, I worked night shift, working patrol and narcotics. Then when I got promoted to lieutenant, I went to day shift. In 2019, I was promoted to the administrative operations captain. My job as the operations captain is I'm over all law enforcement activities. I assist the sheriff and the chief with over a $9 million budget. I present this budget with the chief and sheriff to the commission and to the mayor. I'm also involved in purchasing all law enforcement equipment, all of our vehicles, and keeping all that going. I consider myself a true conservative. When I come on board as the operations captain, I go with the chief and sheriff and see how we could save money. I started with our maintenance program. I took all of our maintenance away from dealerships and I put them to a local mechanic shop. We've got a primary and a secondary mechanic shop, and that has cut our mechanic bills in half. Also, with the oil changes, instead of using dealerships, I search for a state bid, and we get our oil changes at a place that's cut it in half price as well. I started being a member of the 3rd Judicial Hamblen County Recovery Court team. This team is made up of 15 members. There is a director on it, there's a judge on it, there's a representative for the Public Defender's Office, the District Attorney's Office, law enforcement, which is myself. There is a recovering peers that's on this team. We have a doctor on the team. We have several treatment providers for substance abuse and mental health. What we do is it's all felons, it's not no misdemeanors, it's got to be non-violent felons. You can't have no violent felons and you can't have no sexual assaults. Everybody's got to be at least have 2 years sentence or more. So we're ranging right now between 2 years and 14 years on these people we got in this. It's an extensive house arrest program. We help them get back established into the community. They're tracked by their cell phones with us. They are drug tested probably 5 times a week at least. They have to attend meetings on substance abuse. We help them get their license back, get their finances straight, and if I'm elected sheriff, I will continue to be on that team, and I would like to have more programs like that for the Sheriff's Department. I have dedicated my entire career, 26 years, to the Sheriff's Department. And with my experience, I think that's prepared me to be your next sheriff. Let my experience work for you. I think that's 4 minutes.
Thank you, thank you. All right, our first question, and the candidates agreed among themselves that they would just answer the questions. I thought, well, that's the way to do it, instead of, long drawn-out things. But just think about these in your answer here. The first question is, what do you feel is the most pressing issue in law enforcement in our community, and how would you address this issue?
It's my opinion that the pressing issue in our community today is the folks that are incarcerated at the Hamblen County Justice Center, where substance abuse and alcohol is a part of the problem of when these people are, or folks are incarcerated and in the system, and there is medical conditions there now that we have to look at, because jails were never originally designed to become a part of the hospital group. But what a lot of people don't realize is, or remember maybe, is back in the early mid-1990s, a lot of our folks in Hamblen County that either had deteriorating mental disorder or had some significant substance abuse, the federal government, if you remember Lakeshore, this was a federal government facility that would take these folks and help them recover. Well, when they closed that got put back into on the community. And I don't believe half the community realized that had happened. So where did these folks end up going to? Instead of from the street in patrol car to the hospital, diagnosed with either a significant, either going through withdrawals or worse, or a significant mental deterioration, they would go down to Lakeshore. That's where it used to be. Now, it goes from the street, patrol car, to the jail. So when they go into the jail, there's folks there that probably we don't know how to get. I don't know where it's gauged from, whether it's the onset, or are we at the withdrawal, or are we at the significant side of death. So my question is going to be, and I think it is for most people who I've talked to that has been affected by this through either a family member or a friend who has been in substance abuse or has some deteriorating mental health issue in the system. And folks, I realize everybody sitting in this room wouldn't want to find themselves in jail, but I don't think anybody, for what crime they commit, should deserve to die in a cell or on the floor. So my question is going to be how we observe this from the onset to save these lives and get them the help they need and get them back rehabilitated and get them back into our work environment. Because you go from one end of this town to the other, whether you go north to south, east or west, you see help wanted signs. So there's a problem here. We got places out here where they're wanting to employ people, but the biggest part of the people that we got are in the system. And some of them are substance abuse, some of them have mental health issues. So we as a community, this is no longer a police or sheriff's problem. This is a community problem. And we as a community have to decide how we're going to attack this problem. And we got to work this as a community. So in my opinion, our biggest problem facing us today is substance abuse in our community, but it's also the folks that we're dealing with in the jail, because this is a financial burden, not just a people burden with families and friends who have those in the system. So that's what I think.
How many people's watching the football game tonight? So I ain't gonna keep you long. I'll tell you, one of the most pressing issues that I see right now, of course, obviously drugs is one of them, but is retaining employees. I just left the city of Morristown, and I know since I retired a year ago, and there's officers down there now, maybe by the dozen, that I have no idea who they are. The turnover is unacceptable. We've got to look and find ways to keep these employees employed with our agency. And I know when you go in and you apply for a job at the Morristown Police Department and the Hamblen County Sheriff's Department, you don't go in there and say, I want to make $100,000 a year, because they're going to look at you like, say, well, you're at the wrong place. And law enforcement officers that are making a career out of this, that's not what they're looking. They're not going in there expecting that. They know what the pay is when they go apply. But we've got to find ways to try to get that pay increase to certain levels so we can retain these employees. Of course, a young guy in his 20s, he's not real concerned about benefits like an old guy like me, insurance and things like that, unless they have children. Then that becomes a concern. But one of the main things that we're facing right now is retaining employees. And then that's what I mentioned earlier about the recruiting program, implementing the recruiting program. That helps us to go out in the community and attract those people that's attractive to us, the ones that we want to keep, the ones that's going to make a career out of this, that's going to stay with us 20, 30 years. We don't want to be hiring people every few months, every time we turn around. But all across the country, this is going on, trying to retain employees in law enforcement. Now, our country's not being real kind to law enforcement in the past few years. Now, I'm not saying Hamblen County. Fortunate for me, I worked my whole career at the Morristown Police Department, 31 years and a month in the same, not same building, but same organization. Now, with that being said, that's not happening everywhere anymore, so we got to get back to that. And we've got to, as a community, the Sheriff's Department, the Mayor's Office, the County Commission, all these people, we got to come together and work together to try to find a solution that's not detrimental to the community, but is helpful to the employees so we can retain these people and be the best professional organization we can to provide the best services possible to Hamblen County.
I agree with Todd on that it is tough right now to keep employees, but I think the biggest problem in the community is narcotics. I'm still actively working and working with the narcotics, and I would say that our inmates in the Hamblen County Jail, that 90% of them has got something to do with substance abuse. And that's what I was talking about with this recovery court that I'm a part of, that I see it being very successful, and I'm glad to be on it, and I want to continue it, and I'd like to have more things like that to give these inmates.
Thank you.
What enhancements or improvements would you make as sheriff in the sheriff's department?
I've already started working on that quite some time back. If you're going to get employees, you've heard about recruitment. And one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm looking at the organizational structure. You've got to give people who are coming into that organization, who want to grow, have the same opportunity that you had, I had, to look up, to come into an organization and be able to look up and grow. Now, that also comes with understanding career goals. When you come into an organization, you've got to have set career goals. Also, training. Training is significant in any organization that you go into, because you want the best qualified when they come into an organization, and to grow in that organization, you want well qualified, trained personnel going into those positions. And I would overall, the organizational chart that I've designed for the Hamblen County Sheriff's Department is going to give growth from the bottom up, and I will be looking to for folks who are coming in to come in and go up and grow in an organization and be proud of the department that they work for, but also provide a service to the community as to what this community deserves. There's also some additional community programs that I've put into my organizational chart to start providing a service that we're currently, and there's nothing against what we're doing right now as a service, but we can always improve ourselves. We should never get at a point of complacency and think we have arrived at where we need to be. We should always be trying to grow and give a good service to the community, because if we won't, because again, I think I heard it earlier, you know, folks come into an organization, obviously the people like to be paid well. I think as a community that if we are getting a good service and we look at the service we're getting, we want to keep those people in that organization. So those are the types of things that I'm going to build into this organization to where it gives a good service to the community. Thank you.
2 quick points. One is training. I think that what takes place when you, the people inside the sheriff's department, they need adequate training, but we all get the bare minimum that's required by post-commission. These guys need a chance to further train themselves, something maybe far more advanced that could help them move up in the administration process. But that would consist of anything. I mean, maybe they want to be an instructor, maybe they want to be a detective, maybe they want to be a sergeant, whatever, but we need to have some outside training in excess of only the bare minimum, and we need to find out ways to implement that to help these guys. Another thing I think is important is looking into these grant monies that are out here. I know in my history as a police officer with the Morristown Police Department, we got people down there that's reaching out writing grants, and there's sometimes we got, I call it free stuff coming in left and right. You know, yes, we do have to spend it the way they tell us, but that's okay as well. If they say, hey, this is only to provide your department with 20 bulletproof vests, guess what? We got 20 new bulletproof vests today. We got 3 new patrol cars today. So we got to reach out there. This stuff don't just show up at your door. We got to get motivated, put forth the effort, reach out there and find that stuff and say, hey, this is something we're interested in. We'd like to bring this into our agency. We need help here. We're a 2 patrol cars short because maybe we crashed one, the motor went out of one. So we got to go out and find that stuff. It don't just come to us. We got to put forth the effort to get out there, find this stuff that's going to help our organization so that our organization can provide a better service to our community.
With me, that's what we're doing now. I'm still working with the current administration, the current sheriff, and the current chief. If something comes up, we're trying to move it forward. One thing I would like to see for us is to gain more officers on patrol. I'd like to have more officers on patrol, Texas Division, Narcotics Division, and get some response times a lot faster. But if we see it coming in as of today, then we start trying to work on it tomorrow. And that's what we're doing now.
As the best choice for sheriff?
My experience over life where I've had the opportunity to lead has not only just been at the Morristown Police Department. I've also led, again, in the very early stages of my life, I led while I was in the military. I was ranked well in the military. I was decorated well in the military. When I got into the Morristown Police Department, I ranked all the way up to a lieutenant, where I held several key positions. And then when I went into the originally it was called the Governor's Office of Homeland Security, then it went to the Office of Homeland Security, then it ended up being the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Started out as a regional coordinator, and each time elevated up to regional advisor, Bureau of Operations, and then assistant to the commissioner. I've always tried to excel myself, and keeping in mind too that while I was trying to build my career and do the things that I needed to do to provide the best service that I could provide, I also put myself through school, which I was a late bloomer in education. I never received my master's until I was 54 years old. And it's kind of comical when you're sitting in a auditorium and they're calling out the degrees, and they mentioned that one person is 54 years old, and your daughter turned around in that silent auditorium and said, "Dad, I think that's you they're talking about." And everybody puts their eyes right on me. Well, I was embarrassed, but I got to thinking about that. Well, if nothing else, I finished what I started, and to raise a family and working full time and going to college. If you've ever done that, you understand what I'm talking about. It's a challenge in life, and what I feel I can bring to this sheriff's department is vision and leadership, and nothing else. Organizational management. Thank you.
Here's why I feel like I'm the best candidate for the job. To be a leader of an organization, you got to understand the one day on-the-job patrol guy as well as the top-notch guy. I've been that first day on-the-job patrol guy. I've worked night shift. I've missed ball games, cheerleading competitions, and all that stuff. I know what it's like to walk in the guy's shoes that are what are the foundation of the organization. They're the foundation. The sheriff's not the foundation of the organization. The sheriff's the leader to lead that organization. Those guys that we call that are at the bottom, which they're really not at the bottom, they're there for a reason, because they're the rock. They're the foundation of that organization. I've been there. I've worked narcotics. I've taught there in elementary school. I've been a patrol supervisor. And I've done all that stuff. So I know what it takes for all that to come together and work like a fine-tuned machine to make that organization go out and be on top and make the community look at it and say, man, this is awesome. Our sheriff's department is employed by 80 to 90 employees. Those people up there have families just like we do. What's wrong with me if I'm the sheriff on Thanksgiving Day going up to the sheriff's department after me and my family have had Thanksgiving dinner and say, hey guys, I'll answer a call or two right now, or I'll sit here and watch D block or C block, go home and eat with your family real quick, and while I sit here for a while. If there's any problems, I'll call you, since you bail me out or whatever. But it starts at the bottom. It don't start at the top. It starts at the bottom, and I've been there. I've been in those positions. I know what it takes to try to climb and get to a certain point. When I retired from the city, they left me in charge of 6,000 pieces of evidence at City Hall. I don't think they would have left somebody that's untrustworthy, that's unfair, or unjust to do that job. One thing that I will carry with me is fairness and being just and true to every employee up there. From day one, don't matter who they support in this campaign, those employees need a job. They will work for me if I'm the sheriff. Everybody up there, to include Chad Mullins. That's the type of sheriff and leader I want to be for our community. To show people, hey, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do for our community. Thank you.
Well, I think I'm the best candidate for the job, to be the sheriff. I've been in every position there. I've been that guy that worked in the jail. I've worked the night shifts as well. I've worked patrolling on the streets of Hamblen County. I know the budget process of Hamblen County. I know the purchasing process of Hamblen County. I don't know the purchasing process or anything from Marshall Police Department, Jefferson City Police Department, but I do know it from the Hamblen County Sheriff's Department. That's what makes me stand out to be your next sheriff.
Well, thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for being part of our program and sharing with our ladies' meeting tonight. And remember what I said following adjournment. If you would like to speak to them individually, they have all graciously agreed to do that. So thank you again. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Hey, Gail.
Yes.
I don't know how in the world they expect us to choose between these. But it's a good thing it's not a fashion show, because them boots would have got it.
Well, I am not touch it. Teresa, didn't I hear a bell? I heard a bell. Didn't I hear a bell? Thank you. I thought I heard a bell. Okay, in my head. All right, we'd like to take a little executive privilege here. We're going to have all the candidates that are present stand and just introduce themselves. Are you guys getting out of the hot seat?
We were told to move.
All right. Yes, but we're privileged tonight to have our own present County Court Clerk, Penny Petty, would like to take a moment to address the club and the party. Penny?
Just want to take a minute. I'm sure some of you... I have to get up here because I do talk real low, and I know a lot of you can't hear me, so I have to get up here. But I just want to take a minute to set the record straight for everybody. I know some of you have already been hearing things, and I hadn't announced it publicly to anybody because I wanted to announce to the party first as a whole, because I do appreciate the party. I've been a member of the party for 20 years, and they have been wonderful to me. But I've decided that I'm not going to seek re-election, that I'm going to retire after this term. I've went over this backwards and forwards probably about 1.5 years now. I've talked to several what I call bona fide Republicans that I thought might be interested in it. Nobody was interested in it. So I'd go back and I'd say, okay, Penny, you're not going to do this, you're just going to wait. And then I've had a couple that I feel that is qualified, has said they're interested in it, so that was my cue. It's time for me to go on and let the new people come in. I've always said, if you're there and it's time to go home, get out of the way and let some new blood in there. So I thank every one of you. I've loved being your clerk. I've been there 38 years in the state and county government. 38 years, 20 years with the county, but public service is just not what it used to be, folks. And it's hard when you're trying to help somebody and they don't want your help. So just remember that when you're out here and you're frustrated and it's a public servant waiting on you. Remember that they're trying their best to do what they can for you, okay? Thank you, I appreciate it.
Penny Petty deserves a standing ovation. Yes, thank you, Penny. We cannot thank you enough for your, Penny, for your 38 years of service. And I don't know if you've ever been to one of her 2 offices. First of all, I appreciate we have 2 offices to go to in that. I told the lady that waited on me in your office, Penny, and I've told Penny this, the constant work effort I see in that office when I'm up there as a customer. Yes, I mean, that's exactly right. And the courtesy that comes from you, Penny, all the way down to your employees and the great service we've had. Now, I asked her, I said, now, I didn't really ask her, kind of informed her, that does not mean she will not serve the Republican Party or as treasurer. She does a great job at that, too, and we appreciate all you've done for us that way also. Thank you. All right, so if you are a candidate running, would you please just stand where you are and just introduce yourself, and we will start here and make our way around and tell us who you are and the office for which you are running. If we could just do that tonight, kind of abbreviated form. All right, so we'll start right here. Okay, go. Jared.
I'm Jared Weems. I'm running for Hamblen County School Board, representing districts 9 and 10. Parts of Russellville and Wattsburg. I'm running for a seat that's not been a new change in over 24 years. As most of us know, that this is the first year that we have a partisan election, so I'd appreciate your vote. I've been part of the Republican Party since I was 18 years old. I grew up here, in church here, and I'm a product of the school system, and I'm ready to bring some new change and new vision to our school board.
Crystal Jesse, I am running for Circuit Court Judge Part 2. That is over Hamblen, Hawkins, Greene, and Hancock counties. I have met most of you, and I would appreciate your vote and support. Thank you.
I'm Assistant District Attorney General Bradley Wilson. I'm in the Greene County office. Many of you know me from my time here in Hamblen County with the Hamblen County office. I'm running for Circuit Court Judge Part 2. I would greatly appreciate your vote. Thank you all.
I'm Teresa West. I'm your Circuit Court Clerk. I'm for re-election, and I would appreciate your vote and support.
I'm Peggy Henderson. I work for the county clerk's office right now, and I would appreciate your vote, please.
Lena Lawson. I'm also part of the Hamblen County Clerk's office, and I would appreciate your vote and consideration.
Hi, I'm Deanna Snotter. I'm an assistant public defender. I've been with this office for 17 years, and I'm running to be your next district public defender.
Don Baird. I'm running for Hamblen County Clerk also. I appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you.
I like the colors.
My name's Scott Eastep. I'm also an assistant public defender, and I'll be running for district public defender May 3rd.
Blake Simkowski. I'm a candidate for General Sessions Judge Division 2. That's civil and juvenile court. I appreciate your continued support and your vote May 3rd. Thank you.
My name is Dan Armstrong. I'm your District Attorney General. It's been my honor to serve you as the District Attorney General since 2014. I was an assistant before that, dating back to 1980-something. I am running for re-election. I filed my petition in all the counties last week, and I would humbly ask you for your support.
I'm Dr. Daniel Parks. I've served Hamblen County for the last 24 years with 5 years as an open veterinary services, and I am a candidate for Hamblen County Mayor. I would appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you.
I am Scotty Long. I'm running for re-election trustee's office. I appreciate your vote.
Stan Harville. I'm running for the District 10 County Commissioners.
I guess I should, I'm Chuck Collins. I'm General Sessions Judge, Division 1, the criminal part of the court system. I've turned in my petition. I'll be running again, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Jean did want me to inform everyone that Judge William Phillips, seeking Circuit Court Judge Judicial District Part 1, was going to be here tonight to introduce himself, but he is tested positive for COVID. Okay, we can relate, I think. All right, we're going to go quickly through hearing some reports that might need to be made. Republican Party Chair Tommy Pettigo, do you have a statement?
For the Republican Party, I think one of the things that we need to realize, and I'm hoping that I'm announcing this tonight, that our U.S. Congressman Diana Harshbarger has a new district director. The district director has gone on to another job, and the new district director for Diana Harshbarger is our own Darrell Brady. That's pretty impressive. But I want to remind you of our meeting on January the 25th. I want to make sure that all the candidates are here, and because you'll be given an opportunity to say something, but get those petitions turned back in so that we can support you and go on with a great election next year. Thank you.
All right, H.C.R.W. is Jennifer here? Did anyone make a report for her? Okay, let me just say that if she was not present, I was to announce that the Ladies' Day on the Hill is March 28, 2022, and we'll be getting more information about that in our February meeting. But those of you of our club are interested in participating in that, be thinking marking the calendar for March 28. Executive Committee, Paul Chapman.
I'm not going to say much. Come to the 25th meeting, and I think I'm going to touch some more on candidate fees and bona fide Republican candidates.
Okay, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. Election Commission, EC, is EC present? Okay. All right, then we have City Council. I don't see Mayor Chesney. Tommy, we're good?
Everything's
all right.
smooth.
Have I not done well there? Look at this. Thank you. All right, then we have Daryl Brady and Patty Mills. I'm not sure if I saw Patty tonight, but Daryl Brady, real quickly, tell us about your job. Somebody said, what does that person do? If you could give us an abbreviated little thing there, and then what you need to say for the Congresswoman.
Well, the good news is we have an office here in Morristown, and a lot of our club members stressed that whenever she came into office that they wanted to see an office in Morristown. And we made that case, and she opened up an office in Morristown. We moved it to a new location to make it more convenient for constituents. And we had a huge grand opening on July 9th that people came out, and it was such a great event. And we are thankful for your friendship and support. Tommy probably said that because he always kids me in that Congresswoman Horschberger is here so much, they're about ready to send a tax bill. She is all over the district, and today she's gone back to Washington, D.C., but I'm humbled and honored and thankful for your friendship, and it's an honor to work with so many of you. We are finishing up the Vietnam Veteran program to say thanks to our Vietnam veterans, and that has been a tremendous honor to work with those. So if you know of anyone who's a Vietnam veteran, please let us know so that we can get them their certificate and their pin. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, congratulations, Daryl. You did a great job. Crystal has an announcement about the Greene County Lincoln Day then. Crystal,
Yes,
Jess.
we have formally set it for Friday, March 25th. It will be at Link Hills again. We oversold last time, and they've cut us back on a limit, so tickets are going to go quick. We should have them the 1st of February. I will bring them to the February meeting. Probably won't have them here by January 25th, but we'd love to have all of you all. Thank you.
I have also, I don't believe Steve Sutherland is here, but Rick Eldridge has sent word. He is returning from Nashville. He won't be here tonight, but we could probably be hearing from him in the February meeting. All right, so our next meeting is February the 21st, now at 6 o'clock. Let me put a public service announcement here. Jean took care of us. She reminded us 3 times that we have changed the time to 6 o'clock, and you would be receiving as members texts about that. So be careful about opting out of the text messages, because sometimes, as you know, late and breaking news comes forth. So if you receive a text from the party or from Jean, please don't opt out, but pay particular attention to it. So if you would do that, we'd appreciate it. So our next meeting is Monday, February the 21st at 6 p.m. We are having speakers, candidates for Circuit Court Judge Part 2, Judge William Phillips, Bradley Mercer, Crystal Jesse, and candidates for General Sessions, Judge Division 2, Blake Simkowski, and Judge Dennis Snyders. And by then, petitions will be turned in, and we keep using this word over and over again, but an important word, bona fide, then we'll know for sure who our candidates will be for the primary. So, any other announcements? I want to thank everyone again, and thank you those visiting, supporting your candidate. Isn't democracy in the United States wonderful? And thank you, Crystal, for your message of integrity and honesty, which I think, when I'm looking at our slate of Republican candidates, is very evident. Thank you. All right, no further business. Do I hear a motion we adjourn? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. David Perky, there's a drawing. Yes. All right, here we go.
How many? $5 worth.
Remember, this is from Pam and David Perky, $100 Cracker Barrel gift card.
I wanted all of it.
All right, $3 for one, $5 for two. This is getting exciting.
Two?
right, let me also, if I could have your attention, while Kathy's standing here doing the ticket, Kathy and her, I think, was it your daughter? Yeah. Kathy and her daughter came up this week and did some general cleaning in our headquarters and rearranging. I saw a photograph of Kathy down on her knees as cleaning the rug. Let's give her and her daughter a round of applause for thank you for that, Kathy, for taking care of the housekeeping. All right, here we go. Tommy, did you take care of this for us? Just making sure. Anybody else? All right. Here you go. Wait, we got one coming back here. Well, I do not mind to take time for this. The money goes to charity. It's a win-win.
Which charity? I've turned her off. She's coming. You turned her off. I turned her off. Well, I thought we. Did you tell her goodbye? Yeah. Did you tell her she looked good? Yeah. Good. Thank you for being patient.
All right, here we go.
I want to ask you to come up and
Yes, our youngest visitor tonight, our beautiful young visitors can come do the drawing together. That would be great. Thank you. One of you can hold, and one of you can draw. Ready? One of you draw. Yeah.
drum roll. Right, one hand. I'm on for breakfast.
All right. Are you going to call the number? Nope. All right, here we go. 691-3292. Yeah, all right, there you go, Deanna. Thank you. All right.
Oh, well, LB.
Yes, congratulations.
Oh, well.
All right, before we go, if you will join me in prayer, we will dismiss. And thank you again for your attention, and be reminded that our 3 candidates for sheriff will be staying behind if you would like to speak to them individually. And thank you again, gentlemen, for that. It was excellent. Thank you. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your blessings. And one of the greatest blessings of all is the blessing of liberty and the right to come together as a group of like-minded people. We ask for your blessings upon these candidates of all races, and we thank you for the integrity that they have now. We ask a special prayer for the family of the Huntsmans, the Buchanans, and the Smiths. Go with us this week and let us show our integrity to the members of our community. And thank you for your Son who gave us eternal life. For ask in thy name. Amen.
Thank you.